welcome to another episode of Dexter's Diary. I am Dexter. What's up, what's up, what's up? I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I had a pretty low-key weekend. That's what I was looking for. That's what I wanted, and that's what I had. Okay. So today I really thought I had an idea about what I want to talk about, and then something changed my mind. So I wanted to talk about something else, but I'm going to talk about forgiveness and how important it is. And I didn't realize I'm really good at holding grudges, right? And I don't forget. I will hold a grudge from here to the grave. They will come to my funeral and I will be hopping out of the casket like, no, you gotta go. Like, that's how extreme my grudge holding is. And because I just used to feel like if you wrong me, you wrong me, you wrong me for life. But in doing the growth and doing the work and past traumas and so on and so forth, the whole spiel, it's really changed my point of view, because I'm now realizing, number one, it's really selfish. It's really selfish to just take into account your own feelings and negate the other person's. Now, there are some people that more than likely I'll probably never talk to again, because what they did was so off the wall, so ridiculous. And to be completely transparent, there were red flags. I just dismissed them. And so when things hit the fan, I was in front of it. So I got hit with all of it. And so for that reason, I just feel like it just doesn't make sense. I don't even want to know what your side of the story is. Collectively, your actions speak for themselves, and it is what it is. But there are other people whose So I had a friend hit me up, and we've been friends for over 14 years. But for the past 2 years, we haven't spoken because there was an incident at my space involving her significant other, and things got really out of hand, and it had the potential to be worse. Thankfully, it didn't get to that point, but it really it had the potential to get really, really bad. And so because we had been friends for so long, and because of the person that she is, because for 14 years, and she's older than me, so she became like a surrogate older sister, and I respected her immensely, and we just had a really great time. And there are times when when I was homeless and I didn't have any money, and 10 toes down, she would send me money. She would make sure I was okay. She would call and check up on me when she hadn't heard from me in a while. And I was in a really dark place, and she was just there. No questions asked, anything. And in all those 14 years, we've just been able to have a wonderful friendship. So when this incident occurred, but prior to the incident occurring, I came to her and I'm like, look, I feel some kind of way from, your man. And before things get out of hand, I need you to talk to him. And maybe we can sit down and have a conversation like three adults. And so whatever the miscommunication was, whatever happened, we can squelch it before it becomes something bigger. And I don't really know what happened on her end and if she even did speak to him, but we never had that conversation. And so, lo and behold, things got out of hand. And I don't know about anybody else, but you're not going to disrespect me in my own house. That's just not how it's going to happen. I don't care who it is. So things got out of hand because I just wasn't backing down, and he wasn't backing down. And then reality hit, and it's like, look, there's children in here, and somebody has to be the bigger person. So I was like, look, I just need you to remove yourself out of my space. And so he did. After a bit more words were exchanged, And I was like, okay. So that night I just went to bed. I was exhausted from everything that happened. I was in shock. I felt some kind of way. And I just needed to go to bed. So 2 days later, I'm like, yo, because things felt strained, and I just felt really uncomfortable. And from past experiences, I did not want to repeat that for myself. So I was like, look, can we talk about what happened? And she was like, basically like, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, you don't think we should address what occurred? And she's like, well, we can talk about it if you want to. And I just felt like, am I bugging? Like, your man literally just threatened my life in my own home, in front of you and your children, and your response is, if you want to talk about it, I think we should talk about it. But she didn't make me feel invited to talk about it. So I just was like, all right, whatever. 2 weeks later, they moved, and she was like, oh, you could come through if you want, like, stop by and see them. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, me and your man not cool. And she was like, well, you can stop by when he's not around. I'm like, I don't know about you, but if someone threatens my life, I'm not going to be in their space just because. Like, I'm not afraid of him by any means, but I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I may potentially have to defend myself, and I'm on your turf. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So now I'm good. And as my friend, you shouldn't want to put me in that type of danger. So whatever. So we basically stopped talking, and like a whole year went by, and she hit me up, but she hit me up on some passive aggressive, hey, what's up? Like, we've been talking. And I'm like, nah, like, no, we can't. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna play this game. Like, I don't do passive aggressive really well. I don't. Let me rephrase that. I don't do passive really well. We either are going to talk about it or we're not. But that in between small talk, let's just kind of like ease over it. Nah, we're not doing that. Excuse me. So I'm like what's going on? So she's like, you know what? I tried to say I was sorry, and I'm like, when did you try? Because either you're going to apologize or you're not, but you can't try to apologize. Like, you either apologize and I didn't accept it, or you didn't. And the reality is, like, you didn't. Like, you tried some cockamamie bullshit and then thought I was going to be okay with it. And knowing me and knowing my character for all these years, you know I'm not about that life. So, So, I was like, all right, in my mind, I'm like, it's been 14 years. Like, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And it was like, for nothing. So I just fell back. I'm like, until we talk about this, I'm not going to play this game. Like, this is just not me. Another year goes by. Her child is getting older, and he's my godson, but we're not speaking. And I would be remiss to say I don't miss her, because we talked every day, and I'm talking about like 5 times a day. And I don't know how many people have those kind of friends, but we talked about everything. Like, nothing was off limits. Like, I've cried on the phone with her. There's almost nothing she could ask me for outside of maybe donating a kidney that I probably, and I think vice versa, although I wouldn't ask for a kidney, but and thankfully my kidneys are intact. Anyway, so I missed her. There'd be times I'm like, damn, she would be the person I would call in this time, but we're not speaking. So, and I think I could have reached out, but I really thought I blocked her. And like, I changed my number multiple times since then. So it's just like, I don't have her number either. Blocked her like on Facebook, or whatever. So I just didn't reach out. And so she reaches out yesterday and sends me some meme, and I'm just like, okay, well, Happy New Year to you too. And she's like, oh, well, I've been sick and I've been out the hospital, so I haven't really been talking to anyone. So she's had some health issues prior. So I'm like, okay, you know, I hope you feel better. But when you get a chance, I need to know, what is it that you want from me? And she's like, oh, I miss you. I miss my sister. I miss my friend. Like, there's so many things going on in my life, and the person I would call would be you. And I don't have that access to you anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I could just be like, nah. Like, I could just sit in my stance and just be like, no. But coffins, you can't talk to a coffin. You know what I mean? Like, the loudest people at funerals are people who have the most regrets, because they thought they had one more day to say something, or, you know, another week, another month, another year, and you don't. You know, like, when you care about people, and I know things happen, but I've literally sat and taken all extenuating circumstances into account. Like, she had just had a baby, she was dealing with her own postpartum, like, it was just a crazy space to be in, and then now have this pop off, and there's more. I'm just not gonna flush out all her business, because whether you know the person or not, I'm just not gonna do that. But there was a lot going on her end. And even though I do feel like this could have been, this could have been cut off at the pass. Like, it didn't have to go to what it became. But maybe at the moment she felt like she was doing the best that she could, that she was capable of doing. And his behavior is not a direct correlation to her. His disrespect is his own demons that he's struggling with, that really honestly don't have anything to do with me. But I'm not even gonna get into, I'm good on him. I'm good on him forever. Like, forever. But she's been an amazing friend. She's been an amazing person in my life, and to just destroy a relationship based on someone else's behavior. And yes, like I said, he was there on her ticket, but like, it's not a direct correlation to how she feels about me. And I have to take these all things into account, because the reality is, like, she is sick. And even if she wasn't sick, if we take that out of the situation, where she was at the time that this occurred, she wasn't in the best place. And for all intents and purposes, everybody was already high strung with the way the environment was and things going on. And it happened. You know, it did happen. But do I destroy or completely negate everything that she's ever done for me based off this one incident? Do I just say, like, everything that you've ever done, all the things that you've done for me out of love, out of sisterhood, out of the goodness of your own heart, do I now say, like, fuck all that because this happened? It's really unfair. And we've had, excuse me, we've had 2 years to think about this. And I'm sure she's thought about it on her end, because I've thought about it on my end. And maybe for me it was pride. I don't feel like it was pride. I just felt like I'm not one to sweep things under the rug. It makes me really uncomfortable, and it annoys the hell out of me. Like, we can talk about it and say, look, we can't come to an agreement, but I respect your point of view and you respect my point of view, and move forward. or separate, whatever. But to act like something didn't occur, and I know full well that it did, and now we're just gonna be like, hey, how's the weather? The weather is the weather. Like, how you feeling? How are we doing? What we doing? How are we gonna get past this? So we're supposed to have a conversation about it, and based on how this conversation goes, it'll dictate whether or not we can move forward together and start a new chapter, or whether or not we do. I've already forgiven her. As far as us coming back to be friends, we can very well get past this and just act like nothing happened after we have spoken about it, and get back to being who we were together. And we may very well not. But I don't want to wait till something happens. I don't want to wait till, God forbid, like, she's ill and passes away and I wasn't there and I just let my friend go because of something that really didn't have anything to do with her. You know? So forgiveness is it's easy to say, but it's one of the most challenging things to do. But if you value people in your life, and I think take into account, do the math, is their body of work in your life, have they been consistent? Have they always been who they were against whatever the incident was? Some things you just, but some things you can. Some things you can't get. A lot of things we can get past. I think a lot of it comes down to being petty. A lot of it comes down to us putting our feelings first and not really being objective within the moment and breaking down what part each person played, what the environment was at the time. Like, there's more than one way to view things. And the moment that you extract your emotion out of it and really view it objectively, you can make a clear and concise decision. Because it's not, a lot of times when we're angry, we're only angry from our point of view. We're not looking at the other person. We're reacting to what happened, but what was their mindset at the time that this thing occurred? Where were they at emotionally? What was going on in their life? Like, a lot of times we blow up at our friends and we blow up at our family, and it really has nothing to do with them. Again, her man was wrong through and through, in my opinion. But I'm not going to crucify her based off of his action. My issue with her was her reaction to his action. But again, she was in a really stressful place. It was a really explosive, it was a really explosive situation, and I think it was just a matter of time before something happened. I didn't think it was going to happen in the way that it happened, but it did, and it is what it is. And like I said, he and I, we will never have to exchange words again. But I have to forgive her. I have to be real and forgive her for the way things, for who she is as my friend. And things may be tentative for a little bit. I might not be all full throttle, but I would hate to have something happen to her and she never got to hear me say, like, I love you and I forgive you and let's move forward. And I didn't cry this time, so I'm good. So have a wonderful week. Peace and blessings. I hope this finds you in the place that you need to be found and you receive the message the way that it needs to be received and apply it the way it needs to be applied. I love you. Later. Bye. Toodles.